có điểm danh không nhỉ?
Nào phải điểm danh đó.
Okay, so we start. So today we go for chapter 3, types and patterns of innovation. Again, remember, try to follow the presentation. Remember to take notes. Remember at the end of the chapter you have to make a summary. I will give you the paper. And if there is anything not clear, ask. Okay, I will be more than happy to answer and make it as clear as possible. No problem. Okay, anyway. So let's start. So let's check the overview. First, we talk about the path a technology follows through the time is termed as technology trajectory. It represents technology's rate of performance improvement or rate of adoption, means sales. Many factors can influence this technology trajectory. Some patterns have been consistently identified with technology trajectories across many industry contexts. Understanding these patterns is critical, okay, and it will help you to visualize technology strategy. And that's the key. So, before we go to the types and how to analyze, let's talk about types of innovation. First, there are two types, radical and incremental. Different types of innovation require different kinds of knowledge and have different impacts in the industries, competitors, and obviously customers. There are four dimensions most commonly used to categorize these innovations. Product versus process innovation. Radical versus incremental. Competence enhancing versus competence destroying. And architectural versus components. Okay? And we're going to go through these four types. Try to remember them, okay? That's important. First, product innovation versus process innovation. Product innovations are made up into the outputs of an organization, means products or services. Process innovations are innovations in the way the organization conducts its business, such as in the techniques of producing and marketing goods or services. So, process innovations are often oriented into improving the effectiveness or the efficiency of production. Okay, how well we can manage our resources. The process of innovation can speed up the firm's ability to develop a product innovation. Okay, so they are related. Process innovation can definitely help in product innovation. So, new product innovations and process innovations often occur one after the other. First, a new process or processes may enable the production of new products. Second, new products may enable the development of new processes. And finally, a product innovation for one firm may simultaneously be a process innovation for another. Okay? So are pushing innovation through the industry. Though product innovations are often more visible than process innovations, both are extremely important into the company's ability to compete. In other words, we're talking about value. Now, radical innovation versus incremental innovation. Radical innovation is that innovation that is very new and very different from prior solutions. Something totally different. Radicalness might be considered as a combination of newness and a degree that makes it different.
Excuse me.
Yes?
What is incremental?
Increase. Incremental increase. The most radical innovations will be new to the world and exceptionally different from existing products and processes. Okay? Think back in the day when people were riding horses in a wagon, and then boom, we have a car. That was radical. Okay? Think about making math, paper and pencil, and then boom, calculator. Okay? Big changes, radical changes. Incremental innovation, again increasing, is an innovation that makes a relatively minor change or adjustment to existing practices. And we talked about this last week. Think about phones. How they are not new. They just better camera, better battery, better screen, but nothing crazy, nothing radical, just incremental. Again, incremental innovation is nothing new, nothing exceptional. The radicalness of innovation can also be defined in terms of risk. And we talked also a little bit last week talking about Apple Vision. Something radical. But it was a big, big disappointment. They took a big risk with a very expensive product. Radical innovations often embody new knowledge. Producers and customers will vary in experience and familiarity with the innovation, and they will judge its usefulness or if they are reliable. Okay. Again, yes?
So is it similar continuous improvement like Kaizen?
Sorry?
Is it similar continuous improvement like Kaizen?
It's related, but then again, you as managers, you have to evaluate if that increase to make it better, is it going to be profitable? Okay? You have to have, for that there is no formula, okay? It's just, most of it is experience in the market, in the job. The radicalness of innovation is relative and may change over time with respect of different observers. An innovation that was once considered radical may eventually be considered incremental, as the knowledge base underlying the innovation becomes more and more common. Think about what? Cars, okay? Think about Tesla, think about electric cars, okay? It was radical, it was something new, no more gas, no need to worry about going to gas station, I just need to charge my car. And that time was radical. But then, over time, now it's considered incremental because now it's common. There are many companies making cars, China, BYD, Vietnam, VinFast. So now it's no more radical. It's just turning into incremental. Think about iPhone. It was a radical back in the day. Now it's just incremental. So the radicalness doesn't stay forever. An innovation that is radical to one firm might seem incremental to another. Okay? Think about, let me see. Talking about VinFast. Okay? Because you're more familiar with VinFast. Think about, they used to make gas-based cars. Then they turned to hybrid, and now they are full electrical. Yeah? For VinFast, that was radical. But if we think about Tesla, it's not radical. It's just incremental. So again, depends to the firm, the point of view. An innovation can be considered radical, but for another it can just be considered incremental. Everybody follow? Okay, good. So, just think, in the book we have some examples about wireless communication technologies. You are more familiar with it. 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, now we are 5G. Yes. What does that mean? Well, we have more services due to the increment of speed, internet speed. In this case, it's radical. Why? Any idea? The speed is increasing. Okay, so you will think, hey teacher, but that's incremental. But no, it's radical. Why? Think about it. I'll give you a minute. No? No one? Any crazy idea? Come on, yes. Yes? Technology, wireless communication technology. Don't worry. Okay, you got a point there. Okay. It's okay, you don't need to be expert on everything, okay? But you should, especially technology. Our world economy is based on technology, basically, okay? Now, you're not entirely wrong. We need equipment, and the environment, the ecosystem is working in. So think, 1G you could only make calls. 2G added messaging. 3G added internet. 4G added multimedia. And now 5G is IoT. You know IoT, right? Internet of Things. Now we are IoT 2.0, I think. So, the point of the radicalness is in the services. Now, you are users of phones, obviously. When there is a new wireless technology, do you use it in your device? If your phone was 4G, can you use 5G? Can you? Yes or no? So what do you need to do? How? How do you operate? Buy a new phone. Yes, right? That's radical. So you need to get a new device. Think about your computer. Okay, when you have Windows, And there is Windows, 10, and now it's 11. Did you change your computer? No, right? You just update. That's incremental. In this case, it's radical because you need to change the device. You want to enter to these new options, you need to change. Everybody follow? Now, think about phone companies. And probably, I think you should know, with 5G in Vietnam, it was very slow. It's still very slow. Why? Because the mobile ISPs, internet service providers, they need to upgrade antennas so they can signal the 5G. Now, 5G has a problem. You know, wireless is a wavelength, right? So 5G is shorter. What does that mean? You need to put more antennas continuously. You follow? Yes, no? No? You look confused. Okay, 4G, let me see. Think about the wavelength, okay? Yeah. Think about this is 4G. I don't know the exactly numbers, but let's pretend that 4G you can cover 500 meters from one antenna to the next antenna. So you have high bars in your phone. Yes? So what happens with 5G? Let's say this one can only cover 200 meters. These are not real numbers, okay, but it's just for an example. So that means that the companies, they need to put more antennas to be able to cover the same distance as 4G. And what's that? Money, investment, a lot of investment. What's the problem? You guys. Are you willing to buy a new device so you can get 5G? Or are you happy with 4G? How do you know? That's the manager's decision. Do you take the risk and jump to 5G with the risk that maybe the market is not going to change now and it's an expensive investment over time? Sorry. So, again, radical. And again, from the user perspective also, you need to invest. Okay. Think about right now, Wi-Fi. Now it's Wi-Fi 6, right? And now we have Wi-Fi 7. You know? Yeah, FPT, right? Yeah, they're offering already Wi-Fi 7. Very expensive, I have to be honest, it's very expensive. For me, they send me, I don't know, some marketing promotion deal to upgrade Wi-Fi 7, but I will not change. Sure, it's faster, but I don't need faster. I'm happy with 6G. I don't need. Okay? For what? Watching some YouTube, some movies on Netflix, check my email, my kids watch some cartoons. I don't need anything faster. Maybe it makes sense for business, you know, you have a company, you have, I don't know, 20 computers, and everybody's connected at the same time. Yeah, sure. A small business, but for a residential home, I think it's too much. But anyway, radicalness. There is another example. We have these two cameras, this Kodak. You know the brand Kodak, right? Okay, and you are obviously aware of Sony. So in 1995, Kodak made their first digital camera, DC-40, and in 1996, Sony made the famous Cybershot. one you think is radical? Which one you think is incremental? The two are digital cameras. Two big companies, Kodak and Sony. Which one is incremental? Which one is radical? Any idea? No? No one? Okay, let's talk about business. What's Kodak business? What's Kodak business? What do they do? Yes? Okay, photography, okay? That's the main business, raw photography, okay? Okay, wait, I need to think what to read. Of course, the answer is in the book. Okay, but let me explain it to you. Okay, Kodak, they're famous for photography, obviously printed photography. So they are specialized in photosensitive chemical film. Maybe you're too young, but I'm sure most of you Vietnamese people love photography, so you should know. The use of film, which is better than digital photograph. So in this case, changing into digital, it will be radical, because their model is based on film. Okay? So it's radical. Now in the case of Sony, it's incremental because the company is oriented to electronic devices. They already have, in that time, CD players, video cameras, VHR, DVD. They know electronics. That's their business. So for them, this is just incremental. Everybody follow? Yes? Okay. Now, let's change to competence enhancing innovation versus competence destroying innovation. An innovation is considered to be competence enhancing from the perspective of a particular firm that builds on the firm's existing knowledge base. So the more I know, the more knowledge I have inside my company, I will be able to enhance my products, make them better, improve them, make new products. An innovation is considered to be competence destroying from the perspective of a particular firm if the technology does not build on the firm's existing competencies or renders them obsolete, useless, obsolete. For example, the handheld calculator was built on existing competencies of companies such as HP and Texas Instruments. But QFO and Acer slide rulers, the calculator was competence destroying innovation. Now, maybe you don't know, you're too young for knowing that ruler. This is the Acer, the QFO and Acer calculator to make math calculations. Before the calculator, this was what they used to make calculations. Don't worry, you don't need to learn that anymore. Yeah, it's scary. So, a more modern example that I can think for you guys, think about Nokia. You know Nokia, right? Yeah. Yes. Back in the 90s, top company with Motorola doing phones. Okay. Nokia makes some legendary phones, amazing phones. But then, what happened? The iPhone came with a touch screen. And they have two options. They were using the Symbian system. Okay? And It was solid. It was solid, but it didn't evolve. And of course, the iPhone looked more colorful, more fancy. It had the app store, very basic. But it wasn't radical. And they didn't believe. They thought that's stupid. No one is going to buy it. How can you have a phone with no buttons? So they stick to their guns, and that rendered them obsolete. Because they didn't change. They didn't improve the design. They didn't update. They didn't adopt touchscreen, fancy colors, less buttons. They didn't change. And as you know, Nokia basically almost disappeared. I think they tried to make a comeback with some Android phones, but it's too late for them. They just helped them to keep it afloat. But then again, how can you decide when to change, how to evolve, how to follow the tendency? Do I need to become competence enhancing, or I become competence destroying? Now we have architectural innovation versus component innovation. Most products are hierarchically nested systems, meaning that any unit of analysis, the entity of by itself, is a system of components. And each of those components turn into a system of finer components, smaller components, until we reach the point in which the components are basically the elementary particles of the product. An innovation is considered component innovation or modular innovation if it entails changes to one or more components, but does not affect the overall configuration of the system. You keep it. Let's think about upgrades. An architectural innovation entails changing the overall design of the system or the way the components interact with each other. An innovation that is strictly architectural may reconfigure the way the components link together in the system without changing the components themselves. You are changing the design using the same parts. Most architectural innovations create changes in the system that reverberate throughout its design, requiring changes in the underlying components in addition to the changes in the way those components interact. Now, let's better zoom with an example. In the book, well, you know SpaceX, right? You know NASA. And now you know the government of the U.S. decided to make space exploration private through companies, instead of throwing the money all to NASA. So, you know, we just went to the moon last month, I think? Last month? Artemis mission? Yes, you went around the moon, come back. And when they came back, in that model, it's burning, you know, right, through the atmosphere when they enter back to Earth. So, to protect the astronauts from burning to barbecue, they use these heat pads that they will absorb, they will burn, okay, while keeping the whole structure of the capsule fully integrated. So this happens after. It will burn. Now this is the new one, Pika X. And obviously it will always burn. But what change can you notice? Can you see any change? No? Okay, don't worry. You're not an expert. I'm not an expert, I read a lot. So, you can see here, from this, let's say, original state to the burning state, do you think it expands? Can you notice? It's a little bit bigger? Yes? Now you see the Pika, it stays almost the same. Same size. You follow? Now, think about the tile of the floor. What will happen if the tile expands? What will happen to this floor? Any idea? Come on, this is not nuclear science. If the tiles in the floor, if they expand, what will happen? Another word for destroy, not destroy. It will crack. Okay? It will start to crack. Now imagine you're burning down to earth, and then cracks start to appear in the base. What will happen? The heat will filter into the spaceship. You follow? So, obviously lucky for the previous missions, then nothing bad happened, but when they checked the spaceship, it was in very, very poor condition. So with this new system, because it doesn't expand, it will not make cracks, and it's safer to come back. In this case, it's component innovation. They change. Now, talking about architectural innovation, the previous rockets that NASA used was the Atlas. Now we use the Falcons with the SpaceX. And as you can see, obviously both systems use rockets, is the same component. But here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rockets. Now we just use 3. And basically the 3 of them are the same, as they have to make different boosters, different rockets to help the spaceship to go up. So now they simplify. Okay? That's architectural innovation. Again, using the same components, rocket components, but they change how they use them. And before, these rockets, they would just drop into the ocean. And I think you have watched, now they can reuse them. The rockets will come back and land, and they can be able to use them again for the next mission. Again, architectural innovation. That's why they became very, very profitable. Is it clear? I have another radical. The first bicycles, maybe you've seen some old movies, they use this big wheel. Yeah, crazy. I don't know. So the idea is that the bigger the wheel, the more distance can travel with less effort. Okay? Yes, less effort. Because one revolution will get you further. The small, you have to make many revolutions to get further, okay? But later we have the mountain. And what do we got here? Huh? Gears, very good. This one has no gears. It's directly into the wheel. So you need to move the whole bicycle. The wheel of the bicycle. Here we have, and you can change the speed, right? And another example about components, architectural component computers, your computers. Okay? You can change your hard drive, your processor, video card, Wi-Fi, DVD, power supply, memory RAM. It's still your computer. You don't change the architecture, you just change the components. Again, be sure you're clear about architectural and component innovations, okay? So, for a firm to initiate or adopt a component innovation may require that the firm have knowledge only about that component. However, for a firm to initiate or adopt an architectural innovation, usually requires the firm to have architectural knowledge about the way components link and integrate to form the whole system. Means experience. It's very difficult to start something without previous knowledge. Firms must be able to understand how the attributes of components interact and how changes in some system features may trigger the need for changes in many other design features of the overall system or the individual components. you need to master your product in and out. In other words, if you're a manager or you're in charge team leader, you need to do your homework and you need to know your product in and out. These dimensions are not independent, nor they offer a straightforward system for categorizing innovations in a precise, consistent manner. Each of the dimensions share relationship with each other. Where innovation lies on the dimension components enhancing versus destroying, architectural versus component, or radical versus incremental, depends on the time frame and industry context from which it is considered. So again, there is no formula. Okay, you need to be able to read the market, what's happening in the market, in the industry. And now think about today's world, tariff, war. Okay, there are many dimensions to think about how you develop a technology. While the dimensions above are valuable for understanding innovation, they should be considered relative dimensions whose meaning is dependent on the context. Again, market context. Any questions up to here? Okay, so with this introduction for chapter 3, let's go to the case study, page 45. You already have your groups, right? So I'll give you half hour, 30 minutes, to work with your group, read the study case, and answer the discussion questions. There should be 5. This is a very short case, only 2 pages and a half, 3 pages. Read it, and based with this introduction, you should have the knowledge to answer the 5 questions, okay? Anybody was absent last week? You were absent last week? Only one? Okay, remember we already have some groups. You have group 1, An Halin Yan Queen. Group 2, Big Hang Mani Queen. 3, Yui Koa Tanting Truk. 4, An Yan Ni Tu Tran. 5, Hang Mi Nam Tin Trang. 6, Hao Nam Phong Van and Van. Yes. 7, Bao. Nope. Tran Tuan. So we have Bao. Who's Bao? Is you. You group 7? Are you sure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, group 7. And Transact Bing Huang is you. Ding Quan, 2. And Tan Tao. Okay, so you are 8 guys. Okay, so work in your groups. You have half hour, study case, page 45.
Xong rồi sau đó thì nó tái nó tái thì nó quay sang cái đó thì nó kiểu hàng rồi ấy, nhưng mà sau đó cái này sẽ lại cức trên xe ô tô, xong rồi thay đổi xong rồi nhất là đéo dành cho người nghèo đó, hay quá. Đến cuối cùng là để dành cho người nghèo, còn lại dành cho những cái người có tiền. Ủa đi rồi hả? Đi dài em ơi. Mày cũng biết ông cái đồ đéo ai nói là đéo ai đéo cái shipper luôn hả? Cái này là như cái thể là mở hỗ trợ luôn. Sao được không? Này nếu mình có một lại đéo thấy này. Để tôi cái thôi. Dạ, 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 làm biệt hả? Tấn cô là má biệt hả? Cái này hả? Đi qua từ này là mình phải mày đặt nước gì á? Đặt đi đi. Ngại quá rồi. Tại vì tao đâu biết, tao đâu ngại, tại vì tụi mày ngại với tao mà. Tại mày đi, thằng mình cho mày thôi. Bây giờ 30 phút kìa. Uống nước gì? Làm gì? Tao mua gì hả? Mua gì nữa kìa? Đâu mình mà chụp có quán nào có nước chén được không? Mà chụp tới kịp không? Mày thôi ngay mới đâu lên nhìn mày còn nó biết đâu con cha được tiền 600 năm mà mày đâu có mèo con mẹ thức khỏe đâu được đủ gì được chứ em nha có ba bây giờ có 4 phút cho ba của học không biết lặng loài không nhanh lên 4 phút á thế thằng nó gọi được còn rất tham đó mà rất tham đúng rồi ha rồi rất tham xong mình có chắc là rất xong cái này rất tham đi không thì người ta phải ra ngoài đó mẹ lựa từng cái đấy không bó lỡ một đứa một ý không bó con gì nha chẹt lắm ghế em mà mới này đây là Euro là đây chị đừng có bảo là Nam Phi nha chắc là cô đem mày mày đặt để mày chơi gần mày chém 2 cây mày đúng rồi mày chơi làm nhầm đại đi đại mày chơi muốn ly là muốn ly mà cái tạm gì ly gì mình chọn ý là nó random cho mình mà random cho mình đâu đúng kiểu là được vậy đi rồi nha heo thì thấy ăn lạc và thấy heo thì ăn lạc tôi biết hay mà có nên là ăn lạc nên nó này ăn lạc lạc ăn cơm lạc nào mà thấy trôi về dưới trôi là biết lạc bây giờ biết về là mặt là bây giờ nó là một cái là ảo Hey, we're not. Em Ngân ơi, mày làm gì á? Mày bảo nó không nào. Mày cứ xin nhắc này, mày cứ xin nhắc. Biết giờ mình tập chắc là tên quán nhiều, chỉ có 1.000 hả? Thì cái đó là vậy hả? Rồi coi là giá 2.000.
Use your phone.
Drinking to order some drink. No.
The checklist is only missing absent. I told you need to break that dependence on technology. It's horrible. Do not unstick your eyes from the phone. You need it to stick.
She confused. How old are you?
100.
Right.
Letting Truk. Your phone? Is there? It's charging? Okay. Yuen Tan Tuan? Yuen Tan Tuan. Is your phone? Here? Yeah. Van and Van? Van? Van, your phone? Here. And Van? There are two Van. Which one is you? Tram Nyok Van, the last one. Okay. Pam Tran Tan Van, absent. Okay. Okay, good. I got some interesting news. So we can change the room. Yes? Everybody agree? Yeah, I know. Because I asked if they can fix it, and probably they say they will not fix it. Yeah, so option B is change. So in the break time, we're going to change room. Building 84, 304.
So we have to walk there?
Well, you can fly, but I don't think you will reach it. You can jump.
What do you mean by flying?
Okay.
She asked that we're gonna change for one day or the whole semester.
No, we're going to change the whole semester, okay? Yeah, it's too hard. We're too many. The room is too small. Starting today, in the break time, we're going to move and we're going to finish the semester there. Hopefully the AC works there.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Nhỏ đi được không? Oh my god, it is. Some oil peanuts. Do you want some oil peanuts? Boiled peanuts? Try. Give it a try.
Yeah, you could try.
Don't ask, just eat.
Ah,
Chứ
okay.
nó bỏ nha.
Thank you.
Remember to peel the outside.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't buy them.
You haven't tried it before?
Yes. I prefer the ones in pack already peeled with some salt.
How you mix, right? You mix between Spanish and America.
Central America.
Dạ là cái sếp, bố mẹ là cái sếp, quen mọi người đâu mà em tên là đó. Bố mẹ là tâm lý nha. Tại vì mình có người Việt, ở là giờ đây đi không luôn mà là cô này cho mày.
Okay, almost finished? Okay, the book doesn't offer a picture, but this is the Choku fridge or
Chotu.
Chotoku, I think. I don't know. You know a cooler, right?
Yeah.
You know, basically a box. But they adopt the technology of the laptops, so it can work with less electricity, more stable.
From the cheapest one to the expensive one.
Yes. But that's innovation, okay? Innovation.
Okay, yeah. It's counted as innovation.
Yeah, remember, this is for the rural, the countryside, okay? It's not for urban life, okay?
Ghép với lại actually not at all. Refrigerator. Tức là refrigerator đó là danh từ đó. Biết không, chẳng biết mà đúng không? Thì má đó là phôi biết được. Nước phôi biết được. Đó là bót đi bỏ đi quay bót á. Bót hả? Từng mày chấm bớt á. Bót kim chấm bớt. Đó không công tập đến một.
Are you finishing yet? So, you could collect it.
Thank you. Nếu mà tay ta đâu có rảnh mà đâu, tao không có tin là các bạn lao đến
Okay, everybody, ready? Okay, let's see, let's choose someone. Lynn, group 1. Lynn, okay. So, we got what were the pros and cons of attempting to develop a refrigerator for India's rural poor people? Okay, massive market potential, opportunities.
Many as 90% of families could not afford household supplies.
Okay, social impact, benefit poor people in the rural area, okay, that didn't have access to better quality of food, diet.
Number 3 is the brand reputation by making men's indifferent in the people quality of life.
That will go with the social impact. The other one will be competitive preservation, because they have other companies, right? They talk about Samsung in the market, how they can innovate and stay in business. Okay, so we have the competitive component. Okay, and the cons?
Con is technical and part is fabric. Technical and part fabric in order to make the men's food different. Number 2 is the infrastructure challenge, the many rural Indians with the migratory life. Number 3 is the stigma and frustration, by the potential to be the stigmatizing of customers.
Okay, there was a stigma, yes, they talk about it. The idea, the concept that it's not a fridge, just a cooler.
And the last is the affordability.
Affordability, okay. The cons. Okay, basically, summary, infrastructure. The electric power grid is not stable in India. Okay, so maybe electronic will fry, damage. Okay, so that was a barrier. High development risk. They tried to make it smaller, and they discovered they couldn't. So they have to think outside the box. And obviously, the economic constraints. The people cannot afford it. Even they dropped the price to $50. That's what? $1,300,000, right? Yeah, a fridge. How much is a fridge? 5-6 million?
These days?
Yes. 10.
About 10 to 20?
No, a basic one.
A basic
6.
one.
I think 5 to 6, maybe.
Average about
Okay.
5.
Yeah, nothing luxury. I mean,
5 to
basic,
10.
basic.
Yeah.
So if you can drop it to 1,300,000, wow.
There's also this the smaller ones.
Yeah, they have the small.
What is about
But they're mini
2 to 5 million?
Yeah, it should be.
Depends on this old or new.
Okay, so those are the pros and cons. Let's see. Trang. Group 6, no, 5. 34. It's easier. 34. Okay, number 2. What product and process innovations did Shotoku entail? Would you consider this incremental, radical, architectural component, competence enhancing, or competence destroying?
There's always a problem that they are saying not too loud. You can hear them.
Come on, stand up. Speak louder. Why?
Because of you.
Why me? You scared of me?
Obviously. Obviously.
Terrible. Stand up. Speak up, loud and clear. Come on, guys, you cannot aspire to be a leader, a manager, if you are scared of speaking up. Come on, guys, you're going to be leaders, hopefully, right? Managers, team leaders. Cannot be scared about talking in front of other people, okay? Accountability.
About to cry.
Hearing. Customizable. Customizable. Hearing. Operation. Portable. Lightweight.
Con scab vui quá hả?
Portable design.
Ơi trời tụi bay đúng là ruột nhau vậy đó. Hồi nào ruột nào trong cái ta nó ruột em chị em ruột nhau không? Đó bảo sai đi bảo sai đi bảo sai đi.
Yes, that's for innovation. Because it redefines or redefines design. You write that?
Ew.
And you cannot read yourself?
I don't see it.
Oh my God.
Alo à? Dạ, anh đợi xíu nha, em ra liền.
Your handwriting, you should be able to read yourself. Come on, guys, be serious. Come on, the real world is scary. This is just a playground. Okay, so summarizing a little bit what she got in her notes, product innovations. Well, you have the thermoelectric cooling, power capability, adaptability, and the lifestyle design. Process innovations, novel distribution through the India Post offices. And it's radical because they change the way it works. Architecture and component changes.
Can I go for?
And components destroying, okay? Because they render the traditional compressor to obsolescence by using the laptop technology, cooling technology. Okay, let's see, next one. Let's see, Mingyu, 11. Okay, number 3. Did the Shotoku pose a threat of disrupting the traditional refrigerator market? Why or why not? You?
Yeah.
Did it become a disruptive technology? Hurry up. You got the answer?
Yeah, people when that they trying to market the refrigerator to the other upward market in addition to the rural market, and as adopted by the urban upward market through the stigma associated by some
Guys, remember, I'm scoring you, okay? I'm scoring your group answer. So be sure you're ready to answer. Did it pose a threat? Not really. Okay. Because they didn't reach their goal. Their goal was to penetrate the rural market, which they didn't because they could not afford the fridge they made. But it became disruptive because some businesses, they mentioned, right? Hotels, food shops, stalls, cafeterias, as a low price refrigerator option to enhance their business. Not exactly what they pretended to disrupt or to improve. So entirely a disruption, not really, but it did shake the market, at least in India. Okay. Let's see, number 4. Me, 16. 16, me, okay? Me. It's not mine. Right? Me, right? And Vietnamese is bad. So we have number 4. Is there anything you think Godrej should have done differently to penetrate the market of rural poor families in India? That last one is not that good. Remember, solar power is still expensive because they need to buy the panels. That will increase the price. Okay? Yeah, look, solar panels is a lot of benefit in the rural area, yes, where there is no electric grid, but it's quite expensive. Now you got something right there, microfinancing. If they cannot pay the price, they should be able to offer installment payments. You know installment payments? Okay, you can give them, okay, give me $10, and then in 6 months you pay me the rest. Each month you pay, I don't know, $10. Yeah, sure, education, because they have that stigma about coolers and refrigerators, sure. And marketing campaign. And early habit shift research, how to adapt to their needs, because they thought that, remember, you need to understand your market. And in this Indian market, people move where they have a job. So they keep jumping and moving around. So they need to understand that. They try to fix it, but still not affordable. That was the main problem. Okay, the last one. 10. What other products might the lessons Government learn with Shot to Cool apply to? Which other products can you think about?
I think the portable monitor, cooler, for transporting the battery on equally in areas without the reliable cold chain and on second, I think in the low cost for the cooling devices that require no electricity or the high water pressure to provide a clean drinking water.
Okay, that's nice. Some possible projects that could learn, again, solar power systems, water treatment to provide potable, drinkable water. Thinking about medical equipment, okay, sometimes. Solar panels, etc. Could even think washing machines, portable TVs. I don't know. Anything else? Anyone want to add something? Potential products? Well, you think about these fans, right? Before, like what? 8 years ago, we didn't have these fans. Now everybody has. So convenient. Okay, any comments? No? Yes? So let's move on. What break time? We just have 1 hour. You crazy. Okay, so let's continue the lecture now that we have the basic a little bit master and better understood. Let's go with technology S-curves. Now this is very important and critical knowledge, so if it's not clear, ask. You need to be clear. This is the basis for technology management. Okay, so many technologies exhibit S-curve in the performance improvement over the lifetime. When the technology performance is plotted against the amount of effort and money invested in the technology, it will show slow initial improvement, then accelerated improvement, and at the end, diminishing improvement. Reduce, diminish, reduce, less. Performance improvement in the early stages of a technology is slow because the fundamental of the technology is fully understood. It's new. You have to learn. Everybody has to learn. And learning can take time. So, famous graphic. Performance, effort. Effort means money and time. Performance, how good the technology is developing. Again, at the beginning, it's low. Everybody's learning. Once they master, it starts to improve the performance. And over time, it will reach the limit of the technology. There's nothing else to learn, nothing else to do. And then that curve will start to flat out. It doesn't matter how much more effort, time, and money you put, the performance will get stuck at what point. You cannot improve it, you cannot make anything else. Is that clear? Try to be sure you have this graph clear. And what are you doing?
Passing some drink.
Focus. If the technology is very different from previous technologies, there may be no evaluation routines that enable researchers to assess the progress or the potential. If it's something new, how can you evaluate it if you don't have previous experience? But if the technology has established a degree of legitimacy, it may be difficult to attract other researchers to participate in the development. If it's something new, something not proven yet, how can you tell others to come and support you? It's very difficult. As scientists and firms gain deeper understanding of the technology, then the improvement will begin to accelerate. The technology will gain legitimacy and worthwhile endeavor, attracting other developers to come and join. Okay? Think about standards. Think about USB. Okay? Well, you were born in USB time. Before USB, we have the floppy disk. You know floppy disk? Terrible. That was, I don't know, not very convenient, not a lot of space. But then, when they start to push USB, companies were struggling. Do we do it? Do we follow? Just no. Obviously now everything is USB. Think about HDMI cables. It doesn't matter which company, everybody's using the same standard. Okay? So once it gains legitimacy as a worthwhile endeavor, it will attract other developers and follow that technology. Measures for assessing then are developed. As the technology begins to inherit the limits, the cost of each marginal improvement increases, and then the S-curve flattens. Okay? If the technology reaches its limit, and you keep throwing money, and you are not aware that you reached your limit, you're going to reduce your income. But you're not going to get your money back, your money went back. Often the technology S-curve is plotted with performance against time, but this must be approached with care. If the effort invested is not constant over time, it will, the resulting S-curve can be obscured in the true relationship. You have to be careful how much you invest and how much, in what time period you are doing. If the amount of effort invested in the technology decreases or increases over time, the resulting curve will appear to be flattened much more quickly or not flattened at all. So let's check that part. Let's think about effort and time, okay? So, if over time, if I'm putting, let's see the first one, decrease, okay? If I'm putting, and then I decrease, it will look like flat. But maybe the tech limit is not yet reached. Yeah? Everybody follow? Because I stop my effort, the line will flat over time, but I may not reach my limit. Now, what happens is the effort increases over time. If I increase, it will never flat out. Even if I reach my limit. So you have to be careful. Okay? Again, if you decrease your effort, the S-curve over time will flat out. And maybe never reach the limit. Or maybe overreach. But you don't know. And if you continuously keep throwing effort, money over time, it will never flat out. Everybody follow? So you have to be careful in knowing how to read. I pressed too many. Yes. Okay. So again, it may appear to flatten much more quickly or not flatten at all. So you need to be able. Remember I told you last week, critical thinking, that's your job. Okay? Observe the signs. So, technologies do not always get the opportunity to reach their limits. They may be rendered obsolete by discontinuous technologies. A new innovation is discontinuous when it fulfills a similar market need, but does so by building an entirely new knowledge base. It comes to disrupt the market. Again, iPhone is the best example. Okay, it came different, but it disrupted the market. And then it makes the other technologies become discontinuous technologies. Again, for example, think about Nokia, think about BlackBerry. You know BlackBerry, right? Okay. Another one, for example, chemical photography to digital photography, carbon copy to photocopy, vinyl records, cassettes to CDs. They were all technological discontinuities. That technological discontinuity may have lower performance than the incumbent technology, the one existing and widely adopted technology that dominates a market or industry. In early stages, effort invested in the new technology may react lower returns than the effort invested in the current technology, and firms are often reluctant to switch. Remember, change. Change is something that people are always scared about. Because it comes with risk. Too many variables, unknown variables, that make business just maybe not worth it. If the disruptive technology has a steeper S-curve or an S-curve that increases to a high performance limit, there may come a time when the returns to effort investment in the new technology are much higher than the effort invested in the incumbent technology. So think about new models. Okay? And that's the problem about the smartphone business that I hate. Because every year there's a new model. And it's not only the greedy part of the companies, but it's us, consumers, because we want more. And remember, companies are here to make money, to profit from our needs, even if those needs are stupid. Okay? So, when people stop buying the old version, they need to throw a new version. So, in one way, companies react to our wishes because we want something new, something different. Think about that, okay? So then, what does the company do? Okay, do we keep trying to sell the old phone or we make a new phone? Make a new phone. Because that's what the market wants. New firms entering into the industry are likely to choose the disruptive technology, the new technology. And incumbent firms, the company that already exists and holds a strong position in a particular market or industry, face the difficult choice of trying to extend the life of their current technology or investing in switching to new technology. Think the other brands. Think about Oppo. Think about Xiaomi. Yeah. The market was already set. So what did they come? They tried to came with the same product, better. Okay, they improved the features, not the quality. So the quality is not that good. They have better features, yes, maybe even better camera, I think. Yes, I think that's the Redmi. But in the megapixel count is higher. Okay, but that's the selling point. People are not experts. But when they listen, oh, this has 200 and this is only 100, it's better. They don't analyze. Maybe later they discover it's not that good because I don't know, the chip, the processing is not that good, the algorithm is not that good. But people don't care. The bigger the number, the better. That's the way they think. Yeah, that's the selling point. I agree. Maybe it's not better. So again, they will choose the disruptive technology, new companies. And the others that have established, well, they have to take a difficult decision. Do we follow them? But that will mean being different. Yes. Yes.
Bi. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, you have AI, the random prices that we are going through, and no, yeah, we just came from the Bitcoin house farming disruption. Some 5 years ago, they were farming Bitcoins. They were buying the graphic cards for the processing power. That increased the price, and then obviously Bitcoin up. Then it came down, now AI rise, so it's a zigzag. But you know Steam. Steam, we make a research because every time you use Steam, they pull your data, your system setup. They discovered that most of the gamers, they still use the RTX. No, the GTX. Yeah, but they still use it. Because it's so expensive to change. Yeah, but gamers are not
Tôi lấy cái áo xanh đi.
so expensive. Maybe, yeah, I mean, not everybody, but most of the market in Steam are still using our GTX. And then, I forgot the number. That was curious because there have been so many improvements. But remember, if you upgrade your card, you need to upgrade your CPU. Because even if you have the old CPU, it will not run because it will be a bottleneck. Yes, that's why they are now trying to develop ELS technology so they can improve the visual because of the But then if you really want the ELS 5, I think
Yes.
so you need a new 559 60 RAM. It's crazy. But yes, you can relate that case. Okay, if the disruptive technology has greater performance potential for a given amount of effort, in the long run, it's likely to displace the incumbent technology at a rate that can vary significantly. So if the new option is better, if people are adopting it, eventually it will remove the old one. S-curves in technology diffusion. S-curves in technology diffusion are obtained by plotting cumulative number of adopters of the technology against time. Diffusion, you know diffusion? What is diffusion? Spread, everybody. This yields an S-shape because adoption is initially slow. When an unfamiliar technology is introduced to the market, something new moves slow. Then it accelerates as the technology becomes better understood and utilized by the mass market. And eventually, the market is saturated, so the rate of new adoptions declines. Okay? So think about a new product, you don't know, there is no reviews, there are no comments, it's not popular, not many people are buying it. But some are buying, they are trying the new product, then they make reviews, they make YouTube videos, I don't know, TikTok, whatever. Then people, oh, it looks interesting, I want to try it. And then more people, more adopters, and then it will get a point where if the brand and the product is lucky, it will reach the full market. So, for example, electronic calculators, first adopted by a relatively small pool of scientists and engineers, followed by a still larger market that included students and then general public. It took 12 years for half of the population of potential users to adopt industrial robots. Even though these potential users were aware of the significant efficiency advantages that the robots offer. Remember, robots in companies is nothing new. It's been a long time, years. But it took first 12 years for half of the companies to adopt it. They didn't believe. Technology diffusion typically takes far more time than information diffusion. No, social media is so fast. It spreads very fast. If a new technology is significant improvement over existing solutions, why do some firms shift to it more slowly than others? Mostly is investment. We talk about the 5G is better, but it requires a lot of investment, initial investment. It lies in the complexity of the knowledge underlying the new technologies and in development of complementary resources to make those technologies useful. Again, with the 5G, they need to put antennas, set the network, and people buy the phones to use the network. Some of the knowledge necessary to utilize the new technology might be transmitted through manuals or other documentation. Other aspects of knowledge necessary to fully realize the potential might be built only through experience. For example, you have this nice, beautiful book, and you could read it. Do you think you will learn a lot if you just read it alone? It will be very difficult, extremely difficult. You need someone that has experience to be able to explain to you the book. And it's easier for you to absorb. The same goes in companies. That's why they have training programs. They send the employees, go, learn. We brought an expert from Africa, from US, from Australia, from Japan. And they will teach you how to do this. Because some knowledge cannot just be simply learned from a book. You need someone with experience to explain you how to do it. That means some knowledge about technology might be tacit. Tacit means practical know-how that is difficult to articulate or formalize. Requires the transmission from a person to a person. And in the future, AI to person. No more teacher. Terrible. That will be for your kids. Many potential adopters of a new technology will not adopt it until such knowledge is available, despite their awareness of the technology and its potential advantages. Why? Because to bring those experts is expensive. Those consultants is expensive. Because if you're willing to bring the experts, you're willing to pay to invest in the technology. Many technologies become valuable to a wide range of potential users only after the set of complementary resources are developed. Otherwise, it's a waste of money. The S-curves of diffusion are in part a function of the S-curves in technology improvement. As technology are better developed, they become more certain and useful to users, facilitating their adoption, teaching the user about the product. As the learning curve and scale advantages of the technology increase, the price will drop, resulting in acceleration in adoption by the users. Drops in average sale prices for video recorders compact disc players, cell phones roughly correspond to the increases in household penetration. And you see it. Think about the iPhone how much is? 40 million, right? Think about 40 million. Over time, maybe 6 months later, it would drop to maybe 30 million. And then by the end of the year, maybe 25, some big discount, end of year sale. And then the new iPhone comes, and the price will drop even to 20 million maybe. Okay? So over time, the prices will always drop down. We have this example in the book. From 1980 to 2004, we got 3 electronics, VCR, to watch movies, CD player, and cell phone. So at the beginning, we can see 800, maybe 900, 300, and over time the price will drop. On the other hand, we have the percent of US households that have the product. And at the beginning, it's low. Over time, consumption will increase and will almost penetrate all the market. If we cross-reference the graphics, we can find a relationship. If, as the price drops, more people buy it because it's accessible. Everybody knows, everybody understands the product, they wanted to try it too. And as time passes, also the technology learns how to make it cheaper, faster. So it's related, the both S-curves, about price and sales. And you should be able to do this type of analysis. Is that clear? Now, remember, not every product works like this. Okay? Maybe it was always too expensive and you cannot sell it. Think about, we talk about the Air Vision, Apple Air Vision. It's still expensive. And if they don't move, they will not drop the price. Now, S-curves is a prescriptive tool. Several authors have argued that managers can use S-curves as a tool for predicting when a technology reaches limits, and as a prescriptive guide for whether and when the firm should move to a new, more radical technology. You know prescription, right? And when you go to the doctor and you're sick, he will write down a prescription about what to take your medicine. That's a prescription. Okay? Bless you. Managers could use curves to assess whether technology appears to be approaching its limit, or to identify new technologies that might be emerging on S-curves that will intersect the firm's technology S-curve. A prescriptive tool, the S-curve model has several serious limitations. This is not, again, a guide to follow. And every company, every product, every technology has different S-curves, different behaviors. Different markets, also different behaviors. So, let's talk about the limitations. First, it is rare that the true limits of a technology are known in advance. We cannot truly know for 100% sure if a product reaches its technological limit. Second, the shape of the technology S-curve is not set in stone. Obviously, in the book, they have a nice S figure, but it's not always that clear to follow. Unexpected changes in the market, component technologies, complementary technologies are shortened or extend the life cycle of the technology. Firms can influence the shape of the S-curve through development activities. Firms can sometimes stretch the S-curve for implementing new development approaches or modify the architectural design of the technology. Finally, whether switching to a new technology will benefit the firm depends on a number of factors. What advantages this new technology offers? A new technology fit with the firm's current abilities? Can I make this new product with my existing production line, or I need to change everything and start over? New technology fit with the firm's position in complementary resources? A firm may lack key complementary resources or may earn significant portion of its revenue. But I don't think we talk about complementary resources yet. You know complementary resources? Yes? No? No? Okay, let me explain you, because I think the next chapter we talk about complementary. Think about your computer. You have your computer, your laptop. Yes. What do you need for the laptop to work? To be useful? Okay, you need the internet. What else? Oh, you need a battery. What else? Chip. Oh, it's already inside.
RAM là RAM đó má. RAM là gì?
Get electricity, power sockets. What else?
The mouse.
A mouse.
The keyboard.
Keyboard.
A screen.
Monitor.
A screen.
speaker, screen monitor, software. You need software, right?
Yeah, like me.
So all those are complementary resources for my technology. Just having the laptop is not enough. You need to buy other complementary goods for it to work. Think about a car. What do you need for a car to work?
A tire.
You need tires, wheels. What else?
Oil. Petrol.
Yes?
Money.
Huh?
Need some
Money,
money.
money. Why, you put money to the car?
Make it work by themselves.
Oh, you need fuel? Yeah?
Petrol.
Fuel, oil. Well, it's an electric car, obviously electricity. So those are complementary resources. Most of the time, the main company doesn't make them. Other companies support you because they believe in your product and they believe they can offer complementary resources to your main product. Think about, we're talking about video games. PlayStation. They don't do all the games. They have other companies making games for them. So they believe that people buy the PlayStation and then they can sell so many hundreds, thousands games. Yeah? Everybody follow? So those are the complementary resources. Just selling your product is not enough. Right? Expect rate of diffusion of the new technology. A firm that follows the S-curve model too closely could end up switching technologies earlier or maybe later. So it's not a rule that you need to follow. And last, technology cycles. Now, the S-curve model suggests that technology change is a cycle. Each new S-curve starts in the initial period of turbulence, followed by rapid improvement, diminishing returns, and then displaced by a new technological discontinuity. Okay? It's like the cycle of life. The emergence of the new technological discontinuity can overturn existing competitive structure, creating new leaders, new losers, and this is called creative destruction. Several studies have tried to identify and characterize the stages of this technology cycle to better understand why some technologies succeed and others fail, whether established firms or new firms are more likely to be successful in producing or adopting this new technology. So, usually the most popular one is proposed by Utterback and Abernathy. They observe that the technology has two different phases, stages, moments. First, fluid phase. Consider uncertainty about both technology and its market. Products and services based on technology might be unreliable or expensive, but might suit the needs of some market niche. This phase, firms experiment with different form factors, product features, and see how the market responds to these incentives. Eventually, producers, customers, they will reach a consensus about what they want, and then we have the dominant design, the one that everybody wants and agrees to follow. Dominant design establishes a stable architecture for the technology and enables firms to focus their efforts on process innovations that make production design more effective and efficient, or incremental innovations to improve components with the architecture. Think again about the iPhone. It came to disrupt the market. And once people start to use the iPhone, they like it. They say, wow, so convenient, no buttons. I just use my fingers, scroll. And then other companies agree. Okay, yeah, sure, okay, let's follow that design. And now, obviously, you know all the phones look the same.
Almost look the same.
Okay, basic big touchscreen, no buttons, maybe for the volume, power on, and that's all. They share the same components. So, they term this phase specific phase, because innovations in product materials and manufacturing processes are all specific to the main dominant design. Everybody follow the leader. Another technology cycle was proposed by Anderson and Tushman. They found that each technological discontinuity started at a period of turbulence and uncertainty, era of ferment. New technology might offer breakthrough capabilities, but there is little agreement about which major subsystem of technology should be or how they should be configured together. While the new technology displays all called a substitution, there is considerable design competition as firms experiment with different forms of the technology, trying to make the dominant design. Dominant design always arose to command the majority of the market. The market share unless the next discontinuity arrived too soon and disrupt the cycle. They also found that the dominant design was never the same form as the original discontinuity, but was also never the leading edge of the technology. Okay, it's just the basic model. The dominant design tended to bundle together a combination of features that best fulfill demands of the majority of the market. Mass market penetration. Remember, we want to sell as much as we can. The rise of the dominant design signaled the transition from the era of ferment to the era of incremental change. In this era, firms focus on efficiency and market penetration. They will attempt to achieve greater market segmentation, offering different models and price points. Okay, think about, I don't know, the Galaxy. We have the Galaxy, Galaxy S, Galaxy Pro, Galaxy Ultra. And then they have the Galaxy A, A20, A40, A50. Yeah? So think about one model, but then piece or chopped into different models to different parts of the market. Yeah? Now they make what? The FE, fan edition, you know? Terrible. And iPhone, they make iPhone E for it. Terrible. Anyway, what they try is offer different models and different prices, so people will buy it. They may also attempt to lower production costs, simplifying the design, improving the production process. In the iPhone, I think the base model is aluminum, right? And then the cheap one is plastic. And people complain about it, right? Yes. They try to lower the cost production to improve the price point. Now, this period of accumulating small improvement may account for the bulk of the technological process in an industry, and it continues until the next technological discontinuity comes and change. So, basically you have this graphic. Again, era of ferment, design competition, substitution. So many companies make different proposals. At the end, the market will choose which is the dominant design. And then everybody will follow, and it comes to incremental changes. Elaboration of the dominant design. And this will continue until another technology comes, disrupts the market, and restarts the cycle over and over again. So, for example, right now we are stuck with the iPhone dominant design here. They are trying to disrupt it with the new foldable phones. They're so expensive. They look nice. I will not lie. I think everybody would love to have one. But they're so expensive.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That's what everybody says. Until they can afford it and then they have it.
Well, if I can afford it, then I might not be buy that one.
Well, you have a digital watch.
And then I don't like it. I don't like the foldable ones. I like the black ones because they say that it was when you can fold it, the dust come into the curve of it. So
Those were the old designs. The new, they have improved a lot. but they create a stigma, misinformation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the process. It's very clear. Look, yes, sure. In the beginning, foldables were very bad quality. If they have a small dust and you close it, it will break. Now they have fixed that. They have done improved the flexible screen. Okay, so it will not break that easy, even if something is stuck in the middle. But then again, stigma, like in the study case. Okay, what you people believe, think, idea, concept you have about the product, and then companies have to start an educational campaign to break that stigma and make you feel confident that you have high quality product that will not break that easy.
In some case, if the internet fulfills of like advanced KOLs using iPhones, like using photo like Ford, I don't know what is called in Samsung. You know the foldable phone.
Fold, yes, Galaxy Fold.
If the KOL use them like the iPhone ones, okay, every all people might have choose them, but like the foldable one, I still see there is the fixing, how to fix the.
Yeah, I mean they continuously improving. Yes, even this year, no, last year. Many market experts were expecting the iPhone to release the first foldable, but it didn't come. Maybe they think there's still not time.
Yeah.
It's not mature enough. But I wonder if it's going to be a technological discontinuity with the price. Still too expensive. It's double the price.
Might be 100.
Well, right now it's a luxury item, okay, for early adopters, but not for the masses. We almost finished. Calm down. Understanding the knowledge that firms developing during different eras lends insight into why successful firms often resist the transition to new technology, even if it provides significant advantages. During the era of incremental change, many firms will cease to invest learning about alternative design architecture, and instead invest in refining the competencies related to the dominant architecture. So they will shift to the dominant. Most competition revolves about improving components rather than altering architecture. Companies focus their efforts on developing component knowledge and knowledge related to the dominant architecture. How to offer better complement services, products to the current architecture. Because again, disrupting is expensive. And that's the end of chapter 3.
Now we move.
Okay, so listen. So now we go for the break time. Do you want to change or we stay here?
What do you mean by
We're still cooking here? Yeah? Okay, I'm just asking so everybody is in the same page, okay? Yes, I know. And outside should be quite hot. Okay, so 15 minutes break, then we continue.
Thật sự là muốn ở đây. Thật sự là muốn ở đây đến hết Tết ngày
Giờ mày đi cái mày cũng mệt lên đó, cái mày cũng phải ngồi đó, mày ngồi đó.
Oh my god.
Ốc số.
Trời ơi.
Quen mày. Ủa, con đâu rồi?
Ủa Ngọc Hằng số mấy vậy?
Mấy thằng này thời gian phải thời tiết.
Ta được ghi rồi nhưng mà
Xong mấy người tao.
tao không biết nữa.
Uống thật ngay đúng không? Thật đúng không?
6 nè, 13 nè, 13 đâu? Lấy 13 đi. Có ai vậy?
Không biết. Đâu mở coi.
Này coi con Thịnh không?
Ai biết của nó.
Con Thịnh này nguyên mặt con Thịnh nè.
Con Khoa đâu?
13 của Khoa.
Chậm đi lâu quá chậm đi ơi.
Đủ rồi. Tao thấy cùng tiết nè. Vô nhận hụi nè mấy đứa, nhận hụi nè. Chó qua.